let's forget about the usual productivity hacks for a minute. We're not talking about simple habits here. Today, we're diving into a much more radical idea of discipline, one so intense it can completely remake who you are. This is all about forging a version of yourself that, honestly, you haven't even met yet.
So let's get one thing straight right from the start. This isn't designed to make you feel good or comfortable. Not at all. This is about staring right at that gap between who you are right now and who you know you could be. It's a reminder of your real potential. But there's a catch. It only works if you finally stop giving up on yourself.
All right, so the first battleground, it's right between your ears. It's this constant, fundamental war between the two forces that drive pretty much everything we do, how we feel and what we know is logical. Think about it. Motivation is pure emotion. It's that exciting rush that says, yeah, I feel like doing this. But it's fickle, right? It comes and goes. Discipline, on the other hand, is completely logical. It's constant. It's that cold, quiet voice inside that says, I don't care how I feel. The work has to get done. One is a spark. The other is the engine that keeps running long after the spark is gone. And this is why so many people fail. They hit what I call the invisible phase. This is that brutal, soul-crushing period where you're putting in all the work, day in and day out, but you see absolutely nothing in return. No results. No one notices. It feels like you're just screaming into the void. But listen, this silent season, this is where it all happens. It's where the winners are made. And this really is the core truth of it all. When that initial fire of motivation burns out, and trust me, it always does, discipline is the only thing you have left. It's the bridge that gets you across that massive canyon of doubt when every single feeling in your body is begging you to just quit. So that brings us to the next level, the inner work. If discipline is the engine, then mastering your own internal state, your emotions, your thoughts, well, that's how you learn to actually drive the machine. This leads us to a really powerful idea, emotional alchemy. Now, this isn't about ignoring your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's the exact opposite. It's about acknowledging them and then refusing to be controlled by them. You feel exhausted, you feel bored, you feel that pull to just give up. You feel it all, and you do the work anyway. You start treating your emotions like the weather. You can see the storm, but you don't cancel the mission. You just put on a jacket and get moving. So, how do you put this into practice? Here's a brutally simple technique. The 3-second rule. The second that alarm clock goes off in the morning, you have exactly 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And you move. Get your feet on the floor. Don't think. Don't bargain with yourself. Your brain is wired to seek comfort, not to chase greatness. In that moment, thinking is your enemy. You have to bypass the negotiation. The second piece of this inner work is the discipline of silence. Seriously. Stop telling everyone your big plans. Stop posting about your new chapter. When you talk about your goals, your brain gets a little hit of satisfaction, as if you've already done the work. You're just looking for validation. Instead, become a ghost. Do the work in the dark, where no one's watching. Build your power in private, where no one can mess with it. You know, once you start to really master that inner world, something interesting happens. Your relationship with the outside world starts to change in some pretty fundamental ways. This next part is all about how this new discipline can make you, well, unpredictable. And sometimes it forces you into a kind of isolation. Here's an uncomfortable truth for you. When you start to improve, you become a living, breathing mirror. Your discipline unintentionally reflects other people's lack of it. Your progress just highlights their stagnation. Now, this doesn't make them bad people, but it does make them uncomfortable. And a lot of the time, they'll try to pull you right back down to where they are. So what do? You have to be willing to be the villain in their story. That's right. Let them call you obsessed. Let them say you've changed. Because you have changed. You're no longer willing to lower your standards just to make them feel comfortable. Their comfort is not your job. And this is the incredible result. You become unpredictable. Those people who knew exactly how to push your buttons to get a reaction, suddenly it doesn't work anymore. You've removed the buttons. You just absorb it and keep moving forward. Over time, you stop being someone they can stop. You become a force of nature they simply have to deal with. You become inevitable. Following this path isn't just a small change. It demands a total shift in your personal philosophy.
It's about setting an absolute, non-negotiable standard for yourself. And in today's world, that's a genuine act of rebellion against the constant push for comfort.
So let me just ask a really direct question. Why do most of us fail to achieve the things we're actually capable of? What's the real reason?
The answer is pretty stark, and it might sting a little. You fail because your standards are too low. That's it. You've accepted a world where good enough is good enough, where almost is okay. Real, lasting change requires you to declare all-out war on mediocrity and raise the absolute floor of what you demand from yourself.
This right here, this is the mindset. It is an absolute refusal to compromise on excellence. You don't water yourself down to fit in or to make people understand you. You force the world to rise to your level, or you're willing to leave that world behind. There is no middle ground.
And that brings us to the final stage. This is, without a doubt, the most difficult, the most painful, and the most necessary part of this whole journey. You see, true transformation, it requires a death.
And no, this is not a metaphor you can just take lightly. To build that new you, the version of you that is relentless, that is focused, that is powerful, you must consciously and ruthlessly kill the old you. The version that makes excuses, that runs to comfort, that's terrified of what other people think.
So what does that actually look like? Well, it means killing your desperate need for everyone to like you. It means killing that habit of apologizing for being ambitious. It means killing that nagging voice of your past self, the one that whispers that you're not good enough. And it means killing your emotional attachment to all those old habits that kept you small. This is a funeral for your limitations. Ultimately, when you strip everything else away, this entire philosophy boils down to a single fundamental choice. It's a choice between two completely different ways of being in the world. Just look at this. You have the herd, it's warm in the herd, it's safe, there's a sense of community, but the price you pay is that you're trapped. Then you have the wolf. The wolf is out in the cold, it's often alone, it's always hungry, but it is completely free. That is the trade-off. You can have the comfort of the group, or you can have the power of the hunt. You simply cannot have both.
So this is where we end. This whole process is basically a controlled demolition. You're tearing down the old structure to clear the ground for something new. The old you is gone. The excuses are gone. The limitations are gone. So the only question that matters now is, what are you going to build in its place?